Like, my schooling could theoretically drink. Hey y'all, welcome back to another day of Vlogmas. Cheers. Don't worry, this is just sparkling grape juice because it is way too early to be drinking champagne. But I thought it'd be a good one because today we're talking about New Year's resolutions. So, let's get ready with me because of course we're gonna do a cute little New Year's look. And again, I'm gonna be using the Feelin' Bubbly palette because again, like I've got my pseudo champagne, it feels right. As I mentioned kind of in my yearly wrap up, I didn't follow through all of my New Year's resolutions, but I followed through on a good number of them actually this year, which I am super happy that I was able to do that because usually New Year's resolutions go by the wayside pretty darn quickly. And like I haven't looked through all of them that I had set, but I mean I did defend and I did also go on those 6 dates so I could just get myself out there and not get too bogged down. So, and y'all saw how sometimes that could get a little rough. But I was successful, which is all that really matters in that. This is always one of the hardest parts, is to do the water line. But getting back to what I was talking about, I have set up my goals for the New Year's, and this time I actually ended up setting it up and writing them all out. The big thing that I did this year though was for my New Year's resolutions is to have it almost as like a tiered level setup, so that I have like I have it in different categories, and each category there are like a level 1, 2, and 3, and in some of the categories there are 2 different goals for each. So the biggest and most obvious one is I do want to get a job. This one is the only one that does not actually have that kind of like leveled tier system, and that is finding a job. I've set a date approximately just so I don't get complacent in anything, and that is going to be trying to find a job by tax day, by April 15th. I think that would be I don't know how reasonable that is, but I think it's a good starting spot in my opinion to just be like, okay, I'm going to be going home, spending the time with my folks, helping them out probably, but then also looking for jobs, and who knows, maybe also finally writing, doing all of the other PR material stuff that I've always wanted to do. But that is the first one when it comes to like goals that I have for the new year, is to find a job. So, and now we're getting into kind of those different categories. I think the first one I'm going to talk about is actually videos, because I do want to be more consistent with my videos. And in this case, that kind of goes into some of the job stuff, because something I would love to do, especially if money was not an issue for me at all, and that would be actually, as I call it, being the materials PR team, because materials engineering does not have a great PR team. So I would want to be making different videos. In this case, that would be, my goal is to try to make, like starting off at level 1, 10 different materials engineering shorts. Level 2 would be 20, and level 3 would be 40. So it does take a lot of time to make them, even though they're kind of short, but that's because you're adding graphics, you are like making sure you've got all the correct citations, and it can take a lot of time to do all the research. So that's why I have it as tiered. So that would be my first goal of the year, and that's with the videos. The second one also with videos is being able to make more long-form content. I would probably most likely do more long-form content in terms of things like vlogs or sit-down videos. Like I have in the works a video that I should have edited a long time ago, and I'd started it. It's about 25% done, but like really trying to be at least consistent for a bit, and that would be the level 1 would be 2 videos a week for a month, and then expanding that to level 2, which would be 2 months. And then the big one, because this is usually where I get caught up, because I can go maybe 2 months typically on multiple videos. And the 3 level 3 would be 4 months. I think with that, plus the like materials videos, I will be able to more increase my following and be able to have at least a side hustle, because that would be a big thing for financials, to have a little bit of extra money. If you're wondering what colors I've been using, in this case I was using Blanc State, and then this was Clink Clink, so that's over and then in the crease kind of thing. I'm just looking for something very soft and delicate, honestly. I'd also a little bit more on the pinky side. I went with the slightly warmer or more pinky toned browns instead of the yellowy browns that I have in this. The next thing, and again this goes into the financial actually, this one also is a 2-level setup. In this case, the first big one is trying to do a no buy. As y'all have seen, I have not been the most financially responsible recently. That is what happens when you are stressed typically, or you become an emotional buyer generally, and it can be good emotions or bad emotions, but you buy a lot. And again, holiday season does not help. So I was looking at doing different no buys. The first one would be 2 weeks. That would be level 1. I'm just going 2 weeks no buy. I still don't know all of the rules I will set up with that, how I'm going to designate a no buy. I have done previously similar kind of reduced buys, low buys, back in, I think it was February. I actually did a low buy where I only bought things half the time, and that was accounting for charges to like for rent or other bills. So that one worked out pretty well. I was able to be more financially responsible, and it worked out pretty well for me. So I think I'll do the 2 week, and that'll be its own separate thing, and then move on to doing a 1 month, and that would be level 2. And if that worked out well for me, then continue on that no buy for another month. And I am going to pause y'all for 1 second while I do my eyeliner, because that takes a little bit. All right, I did a very tiny baby wing, but it's something. And again, so if that 1 month works out well, I'd extend that to a 2nd month. So those are the 3 levels for financial that I'm really focused on. Okay, so the next goal with the financial is a little bit more on the, can work with that no buy, because I want to make sure that I'm spending money on things I want, but also I can use whatever I save from it to put into my Roth IRA, because I do have a Roth IRA. And if I can, at least with level 1, put $1,000 in. $1,000 is not a lot when it comes to your Roth IRA, because you can max it out at 7, but having more money in it is always good, because that will help me in the long run. So that would be level 1 is 1,000, level 2 would be actually 4,000, and then you can probably guess that level 3 would be actually maxing out my Roth IRA, which for the 2024 financial year, since then it's been bumped up to 7,000. So if I can max out, that would be great. This also does assume that I do plan on trying to max out whatever retirement plan the company that I'll work for has. So that would be another big one for me to do with whatever job I have, because like I don't want to be working for the rest of my life. I like studying, but I want to make sure that I can just, when I'm older, be able to do whatever the heck I want. I mean, like, I have been able to do some fancy stuff, and I'm like, I just want to keep on doing that fancy stuff, even though I'm also like, ugh, it makes me sound like I'm such a hoarder of money, because that is what happens when people just keep on getting more and more money. They just seem to want to hoard it more and more, and I'm like, I really don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. I want to be comfortable. However, some of that really comfortable stuff is like really expensive. So that is level 2 that is my 2nd financial goal. Now we are going to get into overall health. So in this case, both of these are really similar, and that is the goals of making sure I put on sunscreen and drinking water. And when I say drinking water, I mean 64 ounces of water. And with both of these, it goes 50 days, 100 days, 200 days. And you're probably wondering, Obi, how are you going to keep track of it? I made tallies, so I can just hang these up and tally mark it once I hit those goals. When it comes to the ideas with like the water, for example, I am going to allow myself with like crystal to count crystal light, because that does help me get more water in. And I know people are like, that's not great. But I'm like, if it works for me, it works for me. Maybe I will slowly move away from it, but if that's how I get, like, I'll drink like 32 without, and then like 32 ounces with crystal light, like in a single packet. I don't do that like multiple packet thing that like most of the women of like Water Talk would do. So that would be another goal for myself. I apologize for that like lens flare that you're getting. But that is the health goals, because I want to make sure I remember to put on all my sunscreen, because I'm 26, I'll be 27 for the majority of 2025, and I gotta think about my skincare at this point. Ooh, I put way too much. Let's see if you can, that's way too much blush, but we shall start to kind of like even that out a bit, and heck, I may use some of that on my lips too, because yeah. We are going to start off with the finger, because I think that is going to be the best way for me to kind of get things a little bit more diffused out. I know, who was it? It was somebody on TikTok who had talked about like the French style of makeup, and it's all just using like your fingers. So yeah, lots of blush all the way up to the temple. And I remember I'd seen something from, I think it was Scott Barnes, who had talked about using, like, not doing the whole smile thing when you're putting on your blush. So that's why I don't. And just make sure I don't just get a streak, a like line of it, just. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. And now we need to grab a towel, because, oof, although I may actually just a little bit on the lips, because this can go on the lips, so just have this as like a stain before I put my lipstick on. Yeah, let me wash off the rest of my blush. Okay, since we have talked about the health, the last thing that I have on my list is fitness. And this one again is a 2 goals, different levels kind of thing. The first one is going to be running, because I do want to get back into running. I tried this summer, but I got really bad tendonitis. So I kind of want to start again even slower, really working on building up strength in my hips, because that's a big problem, is I've got some hip problems. But start to work on that to help. And in this case, my goal is to run 1 mile, just like all the way through, then a 5K, and then get myself back up to 10K. That would I'd probably be able to get that done by the summer. I have run 10Ks before, or I've run one. I ran back when I first started grad school. I was running a lot because it was something to get me out of the house. So that's my big goal, for one of the 2 big goals. The other one is always, again, going to be losing weight, because grad school is rough. Like, I'll be honest here, grad school is super rough on your body. And so I would really want to lose a little bit of weight and be consistent with it. So the first level is to be consistently having lost like 5 pounds, and not just like how sometimes once you start a diet or lifestyle change, because it's counting calories, that's the biggest problem. Like, you lose a lot initially, mostly in water weight. But I want to be able to be more consistent and keep that up. So it'll be the 5 pounds is the first goal, and then we'd move up to 10, and then go to 20. Sorry, I was looking for my blushes, some brushes. But yeah, those are the main goals that I have this year. And I think it's kind of fun doing it in levels, so I can, even if I don't hit all of them, I can get most of them, and it's not like it's quantified, and it's one that I can approach over multiple parts of the year to see. Also, did I mention relationship? Yes, I think I did. Because yeah, increasing that, as you all saw, last year I was able to go on the 6 dates, but now I want to even try to go on more, because I don't have to worry about like grad school or things anymore either. And it would be a great way for me to go out and like learn about wherever new I am living. Because that's gonna be a big thing, is I'm gonna be in some new city probably that I've never been to, and I need to get out and meet people. Editing Obi here. When I was referring to the dates, I'm thinking having 6 dates is level 1 because that works well, then 12, then 24. So like easy 6 dates, probably could get that squared away. 12, at least a date once a month. 24, at least going on a date every other week. Seems reasonable. I'm just right now enjoying all of this. I hope I talked all of the goals before I'd even gotten my makeup done fully. Wow. And I'm gonna remember, because as Lynn says on TikTok, you don't look weird with eyeshadow under your eyes, you're just not used to it. So I'm going to do a little bit just to kind of like, I'd waited to finish my look before I brought any of it down because I was gonna have to do like concealer and all that jazz and liquids and powders. That doesn't usually work well together. Okay, so we're almost done with the look. Do y'all have any major goals that you have for this year? It's gonna be, this is for me a crazy year because this will be like 2025 is going to be the year where I really am gonna have to figure out who Obi is, especially Obi outside of like being a student, because I've been a student for so many years, like 21 years I think, because I started school in 2000. I started kindergarten in 2003. Yeah, 2003 was when I started kindergarten. So I finished my PhD in 2024. So I've been in school for a long time. Like, my schooling could theoretically drink. Like, that is how long I have been in school. So it's weird to now finally have all of this out in the open, and I have to be an adult and like a true adult, because like in grad school there is a lot of aspects where you are an adult but you still have the comfort of academia, of schooling, like that you have been used to for your entire life. And like, I know my parents really want me to go into industry, and that's been a comment like at Thanksgiving. A lot of people were like, yeah, now you gotta go into the real world. I'm like, I know I don't really like that, but I also know that that is just part of life. So just adding on my lipstick and then we should be ready to go. I think this looks pretty good. I hope y'all like it. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!